Our psychology and film assignment is done by Nathan Long, Darius Ellis, and Matthew Yearwood on Full Metal Jacket. It'll be done on Private Pyle, a character in the movie. If it'll actually play, please. There you go, Full Metal Jacket. So this is Private Pyle, otherwise known as Leonard Lawrence. That is his actual name. A little bit of background on him. He does have a poor physique. He is considered to be mentally challenged because he is a little bit slow at some points in regarding social and certain intellectual factors. He is considered soft by both his drill instructor and the people who are supposed to be his friends in his squad. A little bit of historical background with the setting of the movie. It's set, the first part of it that we'll be analyzing, during basic Marine training on Parris Island for the Vietnam War. He is being diagnosed with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It is a general anxiety disorder. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, is a psychiatric disorder that can occur in people who have experienced or witnessed a traumatic event such as a natural disaster, a serious accident, a terrorist act, war, combat, rape, or other violent personal assault. That is from the American Psychiatric Association. For the specific case of Private Pyle, it is brought on by experiences in basic Marine training, and its development is seen in the movie. So potential symptoms, there are a few listed here. The main ones that we will focus on are desensitization and the reckless and uncharacteristic behavior. So to get into that a little bit, symptom 1, desensitization. Private Pyle goes from being compassionate, not really getting that much into the training, to becoming a killer, which is what they wanted from all the Marines. He doesn't show emotion or fear anymore like he did before, and it's best exemplified in the final bathroom scene, which I will get to after the next slide. So, the second symptom here is reckless and uncharacteristic behavior. He follows orders without hesitation, which he had never really done before, and he follows them well. He loses compassion, like I said before, and to get into the final bathroom scene, he is seen sitting there, deranged as he is seen in this picture. He loads live rounds into his gun, into the magazine, loads his gun, says the rifleman's creed, and then continues to shoot both the drill instructor and himself, concluding that part of the movie. There is one notable missing symptom here, and that is the re-experiencing of the traumatic event. We're not really shown that in the film, and so it can't be assumed that well, though he does seem to disassociate with the experiences, but that doesn't really go along with the re-experiencing. So the main contributors to the PTSD that we see are basic training in general, including all of his squad mates. There is a scene where they beat him with soap bars after he screws up, because every time he screws up, it's announced by the drill instructor that his squad has to pay for it. The main contributor, though, is Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, his senior drill instructor during basic Marine training, who is seen on the left picture. He berates, even assaults Private Pyle throughout that part of the movie, and eventually leads to degrading of both mental and physical parts of Private Pyle. And also Joker, who's considered to be Private Pyle's only real friend in basic training, betrays him during the aforementioned soap scene. He's pictured on the right. Potential treatments, there are two main ones: cognitive behavioral therapy and eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. Aspects of those are listed here. More on treatments. The outcomes for both potential treatments, they allow the patient to healthily cope with trauma. Both would be considered appropriate for Private Pyle's case, though it may be considered unethical because of the traumatic memories that would need to be triggered. The film portrayal of the disorder, it is largely accurate. As we mentioned before, most of the symptoms are shown. We highlighted the two main ones. There are little things here and there that wouldn't really fit, but it is fairly accurate, especially for PTSD and the way that Marines and other soldiers experience it. The effect on real life, it allows viewers of the movie, to know a little bit more about how PTSD can affect and degrade people. So a little bit in context here, the movie is set during the Vietnam War in 1960s America. At that time period, soldiers were being pumped out to be ruthless killers, like I mentioned before, especially Marines. And in 1960s America, there wasn't nearly as much awareness and support for mental illnesses as there is now. To go along with that, there were some stigmas. Soldiers with PTSD especially were a lot of times seen as violent. They were afraid to seek help because they were trained to do everything on their own and not get help from other people and survive on their own. Thankfully now in today's day and age, support system is getting a lot stronger, though at that time it was not very strong. There is a certain breaking point, and that is the soap bar scene. If we had more time, we would show that. And the conclusion to his story is the bathroom scene, like we mentioned before. Again, if we had more time, we would show that. And then we have our works cited for this.